Premier League 2025-2026, the best and the worst opening fixtures, okay? I think one of the biggest teams in the Premier League and actually the title winners from last season have the hardest starts to the potential season. To the season, okay? Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the Premier League fixtures for the next upcoming season, the 2025 to 2026 season, which teams have the hardest start and which top two teams have the easiest start, okay? And where they also might land after, say, 12 games. If you don't know me, I'm Ryan Carruthers, and I've been helping people like you watching this video make more money on Betfair through betting or trading for over 10 years now. Now, if you want 3 strategies, I'm going to give you 3 strategies for free. All you need to do is comment the word 3 below and we'll get them sent over to you. This video is all about my sort of ideas recording this on the 23rd of June around the Premier League fixtures, the upcoming fixtures, where I think it's going to land and where they might be after 12 games. So I actually think the team with the easiest start is Chelsea, right? I've got some notes behind me, so let's scroll down and have a look. Chelsea have Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford and Man United. First 5 games. Chelsea, asterisks on Chelsea there because they've been in the Club World Cup. Now, this is something that I think we do need to think about. That's going to go one of 2 ways for me. The Club World Cup is either going to be like a pre-season and these teams are going to come back like firing and ready and built and testing out a few things, or it's going to have the detrimental effect. Now, I think it could also have an initial effect where actually it is like that pre-season and it works well, and then you have like this mid-season slump. And I think managers are really going to have to manage this because you might have to sort of try and do like a forced winter break for some of these players, because I think there's so much football. And I know people say things like, oh, they get paid 200 grand a week to be fit. But it's like anything at work. You could be amazing at your job. But if I pushed you to the limit and I increased your workload by 20%, you are not going to be outputting the same level that you are now. And that is what is happening with all of these additional football games. But I still think Chelsea are going to do quite well. This is a pretty nice start for Chelsea. Like, Fulham are a tricky team. Fulham are, under Marco Silva, are one of... they're just a fascinating team for me. Like, this is a hill I'm prepared to die on, that Fulham are a fun team. Like, it just looks like he's just got a bunch of players together who all love playing together, who all love being in London, and they just have fun. And if they are on it and you are slightly off it, if you have one position where you're making mistakes, they will bully you. They are so good at exploiting weaknesses. Now, there's also a team that I couldn't decide on, and that's Wolves. Because Gary O'Neill kept Wolves up. And I mean, he did a great job. And I mean, he's a really, really good manager. Now, Wolves have Man City, Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle and Leeds in their first 5. Just this, I've been wrangling with this one. Because Wolves are terrible. They've been terrible for so long. How long can they stay up for? But I just feel with Gary O'Neill, dependent on if they could get a couple of players, if they could keep hold of a couple of players. Now, they've lost Cunha, but just a little stat on Cunha, he actually overperformed his XG, which is interesting. And Man United bought him, which for me is hopefully he does not carry on to do that. That's not what I want. I want him to now underperform. I want him to revert back to the mean even. Because also, apparently they're buying... and Bueno from Brentford, he also overperformed his XG last season. But a little one on him, I actually think he is a quality player. I think he could actually, in the right team, explode. Like, I think he could be really, 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 really good. Like, really, really good. Also, this isn't a video designed for me to just be rambling at you. I want some interaction, okay? Let's have some conversation. Tell me below in the comments if you think I'm right or you're wrong. I mean, I know that people love to give me some things in the comments. I love that. I just love that. So I do think with Wolves, it could be one of those, because Man City are a team that they ended last season really, really strong. Okay, they ended strong. But there is a lot of transition going on at Man City, and they've bought a lot of players in, and they're going to be, from January of last year, they made some signings. They've made a few signings this summer already. There's a changing situation there. So I'm not quite sure which Man City we're actually going to see. And we also have, no one really knows how much longer Pep is actually going to be there. Yes, he signed the extension, but I think there is change there. So that is definitely something to watch out for. Now, the two teams I think have got it really tough is my team, Liverpool. They have Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley and Everton. Now, you look at that and you go, well, Burnley, yeah. But Everton are terrible, right? They were terrible. David Moyes is back. David Moyes knows how to get that Everton team results. He knows how to frustrate teams. He's very, very, very good at it. And it's a different beast for Liverpool. It's Everton. It's a rival. There's something tricky for Liverpool when they play Everton. Bournemouth also, yes, they're getting slightly raided because Liverpool are going to take Kirkes and maybe a few other teams are going to come in and take a few players. But they have a solid team. They are very, very good. On their day, they are really, really good. I think the only thing, they started the season really well last season, but the back end of it, you could just tell that they just did not have that squad depth and the quality to come into that team because they were playing players out of position and they just couldn't get players back quick enough. But I think the opening game for Liverpool, Bournemouth, bloody tricky. I'd rather have Burnley, or in fact the dream start would be Sunderland, to be honest. Now Newcastle have Aston Villa, Liverpool, Leeds, Wolves and Bournemouth. It's not great. That's pretty tricky. That is a pretty tricky first five, if I am honest, which is what I'm trying to be with this video. I think that's pretty tough because I think Leeds are actually going to surprise a few people. And I think Villa, the thing that I now see with the Premier League is the top 10 teams in the Premier League are so good. They are so good. People go and people say about Liverpool winning the title last year, oh, but it wasn't that good. They had a low points total. But I think the top 10 of the Premier League is so good now. Like all of those top 10 teams, they're so good. So on their day, they can actually beat anybody. And there's not that much in it between a lot of them. There's not that much in it between them. You've got, the way I see it anyway, is you've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City at the minute. They are right at the top of that. So they're like the top three. They are above the rest of the seven. But the other seven, they're so closely matched. I think one of the things that is definitely going to be huge for some of these teams is back-to-back Champions League. Because if you get back-to-back Champions League, the amount of money that you generate that you can actually spend is huge. It'd be really, really interesting to see what happens to Newcastle if they can do back-to-back Champions Leagues because of the money they will make. Now, I also think potentially they should look at selling maybe one of their stars. I know, crazy, but with the PSR rules, they could make so much PSR headway that they could then capitalise the fact that they are the wealthiest club in the world, basically. But they have the wealthiest owners, should I say, in the world. And that would really let them then use their advantage. Now, where do I see the table after 12 games? I think this is quite an important thing for me to look at. I really do like the outright markets, and I know Martin is going to be creating some content and he's got some stuff planned for me and him to talk about and some podcasts. But just to touch upon it, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Chelsea top of the league. And I think it'll be Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal. And then I actually think we're going to see Brighton and Leeds. I think we're going to see them around that sort of 5, 6, 7 range. Because I think Leeds are actually going to surprise a few people. I really, really do think that. And I think Chelsea are probably going to start well. They've got a good first set of games. And then I think that's when they're going to start to really, the wheels are going to fall off for Chelsea, to be honest. I don't think they've got the quality to go all the way. I think they are potentially, I think Chelsea are the team that is most likely to break into that Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City level. I think they're the one to do it. If you look at, all of the stats, they are the closest to being able to do that. So they don't need to do as much to get into that sort of echelon. And then I think from the bottom, I think Sunderland are a given. Right, Sunderland are a given. But then actually, I think Wolves' strongish potential start is going to just fade away. And I think they're going to be down there. I think Burnley are going to be down there. I think Everton are going to be around the bottom 8. I actually think I've got two slightly controversial ones now as well, depending on player transfers, because we don't know, like the window hasn't closed yet, so we don't know who is staying and who is going. But I actually think Nottingham Forest and Man United might be down there as well. I think if Forest, there's a lot of rumours, and I've got friends that are Forest fans, and they're telling me that there's a lot of rumours about players leaving. And the team actually cashing, like the owners and the team and the recruitment team actually cashing in on them so that they can bring in other players, and they can actually take the profit, which is actually something that teams should be doing. Okay, like this isn't fun as fans, but if you read the book Soccernomics, which is a really, really good book that a lot of traders should actually read to understand teams and data and how it works and why you should do it, is players are often overvalued. So sell them when teams want them and they've just potentially had a good season, because they're overvalued and they will revert to their mean performance again. So sell them while their stock is high and then reinvest that. And I think that is potentially, you can see that is what Brentford do, that is what Brighton do, that's what Liverpool have been doing. That is, I feel like, what Nottingham Forest might do, because a lot of their players that performed really, really well last season were bought for very little money. So if they can sell them for good money, that will allow them to spend and effectively build a team. But I think they are going to, if they do that, I think they will struggle. I think it's very tricky to buy well and buy right. I read the book How to Win the Premier League by Ian Graham, and he said that like 50% of all transfers fail, which is crazy. But you can see it. You can see it. Now, the other one is Man United. I actually do. This all depends on who they keep hold of, who they buy, etc. But Man United were pretty dire last season. They were terrible, and they did not perform very, very well. Amarim, yes, he's going to have a full pre-season. Yes, he's probably going to get a couple of more players in that he wants. But if they carry on with that attitude, and if they carry on, they've got a toughish first five as well. The pressure is on. And if they don't get a hold of that, then I could see that carrying on, their bad form carrying on, because there's just going to be so much pressure on them. And Mateus Cunha is a good player, overperformed his XG last season. If he reverts back to the mean, who knows? He might step up being around better players at Man United. He might step up. It might be the step he needs, and then his numbers will be good. But the same with Mbueno from Brentford. A lot of Man United fans that I know have been saying that the deal is agreed, basically. Now, if he goes, he also overperformed his XG. I do like him, though. I think he's a good player. I think he could be someone's Sadio Mane. Now, Sadio Mane, for those of you who don't remember or whatever, Sadio Mane was at Southampton and there was questions over his temperament and etc. etc. He went to Liverpool and exploded. And I feel like Mbueno might be that player. Like there's something about the Sadios about him. I think there's also that from Semenyo at Bournemouth and Mohamed Kudus at West Ham. I think that both of those two players, you put them in the right team where they're motivated, nobody will look more up for it. Especially Kudus. I've seen him be the best player on the pitch against Liverpool, against Arsenal, when he can be bothered. And then I've seen him absolutely stink the place out against some lower league teams, which is just fascinating. So let me know in the comments below what you think to this. I mean, I'm recording this on like the 22nd or the 23rd of June. So there will be some changes to these teams that might impact that. But just right now, this is my initial reaction of where we are. And I'd love to hear what you guys think, where your team's going to be. And also, do you agree? Are Man United going to be in that sort of bottom 8 after 10, 11, 12 games? I mean, I would love to see it.